Well, first of all, good afternoon. I'm here with the First Lady, Sharon. She said, you know, the weather is going to be so beautiful today. She decided to come and take a ride with us out to New Orleans so we could do this great event. You know, when we were running last year, we said that we were going to make promises that we could keep. We said that we were going to focus on things that we heard from the people of the state were problems. One being crime, the other being education, and the other being the economy. And of course, as a former police officer and sheriff's deputy, and as the Attorney General for 8 years, we understood the need to fix our criminal justice system in this state. For far too long, victims have walked around in our criminal justice system in the dark without even a flashlight to be able to find their way to make sure that their justice is served. Yesterday, we signed a series of bills and enacted them into law that started to put victims first, to give victims a voice, to make sure that Louisiana is going to be a safe place. And I can tell you again, this would not have been possible without some very, very special people. Those people that are here today, some of them who could not make it, but the victims who have waited out through the legislature, both last year in frustration, but this year in Jubilee, they spent a lot of time, a lot of their own money, and a lot of their own tears to make sure that victims all over this state were heard. And of course, it's befitting that we're here in this city today, because this is such a jewel of a city. We have such some great cities in this state, and it starts right here in New Orleans. And of course, I have consistently come again and again to this city to say that this city needs to be a safe city, and that when this city is a safe city, and when we concentrate on the businesses and industries that grew this state, everything else becomes organic, and smiles all of a sudden miraculously start getting on the faces of people irrespective of where they are. I also want to call out someone who probably does not want to be called out, and that's Laura Canizaro. You know, I have not seen probably two more stubborn people than her and her father. Because irrespective of how bad it gets in this city, and it has gotten bad. It has gotten bad. I mean, this city, at one time, over the last 24 months, was in the top 10 most dangerous cities in the world. Those two people would not leave for anything. Their commitment to justice and to victims is again a part of the success that we're having today again. So Laura, I want to thank you as well. Sharon and I both. I know you don't like that. And of course, all of the law enforcement officers out there, you know, because part of this package was a signal to them that we back our police officers. That we certainly understand that in every profession there are bad actors. And when there are bad actors, because we know there are bad actors in the legal profession, right? But when there are bad actors, we take care of those bad actors. But for the most part, there are men and women each day that put on a badge and put on a uniform. They kiss their wives or their husbands and give their kids a kiss, and they go out there and they work to protect our communities. They stand on that thin blue line of those who, to protect us from those who want to wreak havoc on our communities, to keep our communities safe. And so again, this package of bills and some of the things that we're signing are a tip to them as well. And so here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do is I'm going to sit down here, Sharon and I, and Angelique Friel, call her up, our executive counsel, our lawyer, keep us all on track. And then as we call these bills out, we're going to call the bill authors that are here today, and the victims, and those that want to come up behind us as we sign these bills. Because today is your day. Today is a big thank you to you. Today is, and let me just say this too, today is not the end of this journey. It is only the beginning. When you work inside of a criminal justice system, we work for perfection. But we're never going to let perfect be the enemy of good. And so each and every time this legislature goes into session, we will be working with victims and law enforcement to tweak some of these laws or to change other laws to, again, make sure that we create a balance in our criminal justice system that balances justice, the defendants, but always leaning towards making sure that victims have a voice. So that's what we'll do. And then, oh, can they hear? I don't know if this works. Let's see if this comes up. And then, let me just say this too. If any of the victims or the law enforcement officers want a copy of the bill, we've already pre-signed some bills, and then we'll give you one of these nice pens. So Brandon, Dr. Dennis, Linda Fricky, oh yeah, there you go. Yo, come on up. All right. Okay, let's see something here. These are the ones we're going to do. Let's see. Why don't we do the transport? Let me see the bunch. Let me see the badge. Correct the age. And then the hijacking. Which one are you going to bunch up? Correct the age, juvenile justice, illegal use of a firearm, carjacking. I'll tell you what we'll do too. I'll tell you what. Here's what we're going to do. Because I think we've done. Oh, look, my dad. Sure. Becky, Susan. Why don't we do this? Because I think that there is a series of these bills that are extremely important to all of the people around us. Number one, of course, is the transparency in the criminal justice system that many of these folks behind me went to the legislature last year and they expressed their voice, but yet they came up short. We all came up short, but they didn't give up. And one of the promises we made to them as we were campaigning last year was that we were going to put this bill on the floor, we were going to pass this bill, and then today we're going to sign this bill, and then on top of that, because many of them are victims, and many of them are victims of crimes that have been subject to juveniles. And so we're going to sign the correct age bill as well, and I'll explain that one. And then we're going to talk about the juvenile justice reform. We're going to sign that one. And the illegal use of firearms. And we're going to sign that one, and carjacking as well. Because all of these things are components. All of these bills collectively are like a piece of, they're a puzzle. They're pieces of a puzzle that when you put those pieces together, start to strengthen our criminal justice system. And is Debbie here? Did Debbie not come? No? Debbie had enough of yesterday. And Lauren? And yeah, come on, Lauren. Come on, you got to take some credit on this. Come on, she's great. And any of the other legislators that are here, come on, yeah, come on in. And look, I can tell you this also would not have been possible without an unbelievable legislature. They moved through these bills with efficiency and effectiveness. Laura, where you going? No, you got to come on. Oh, you want to see? Okay. All right.
We'll take some pictures while you're looking.
Yeah, there you go. Give us some orders. Mike Renatza, some of the sheriffs, do y'all want to come up as well? Look, I'm serious. Come on, Beckett. I'm serious. These are all things that are protecting, they're giving these folks who are out there protecting us. The DAs that are here, Lauren and them, Charles Bailey. Okay. You hear? Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. We did a lot. We did a lot. All right. So the first bill that we're going to sign is the transparency in criminal justice. And we all know what that bill does, right? What that bill does is start to give victims, thank you. This bill starts to give victims a window, a flashlight, as I said, in the darkness, so that we and they can see what's going on in the criminal justice system, so that they can track their cases. Because we've heard the testimony about how they fall into a criminal justice system and they have no way of knowing that the person who affected their life in such a tragic way, what is going to happen to them, or whether or not they're going to get, meaning the victims are going to get their justice. So, Ms. Sherilyn, this is your day, baby. This is yours. How about that? There you go. And we got a pen for all of them. Laura, you too. We got a pen just for you. Okay. So then, Senate bill. This is correct age. Right, I just heard that one. Okay, so this is correct age. All right. And what we have found from listening to sheriffs, to DAs, to judges, is that in today's world, there are 17-year-olds out there, they are not children. They have become hardened criminals, okay? And the worst part about it is that when we reduce this age, we then move that entire population of what I call adults, and my father would agree, he's here today. It's kind of unique that he's here because he remembers him and my mother sending me to the National Guard at 17, right? So I was old enough at 17 to go into the Guard. That's what we're dealing with. But when we send those 17-year-olds into a juvenile justice facility, they become mentors to those underneath. And so instead of rehabilitating those juveniles, true juveniles, and how to get back into society and how to be productive citizens, they're teaching them how to be hardened criminals. And if you talk to these sheriffs, if the press is out here, you go talk to these sheriffs. I saw Beckett Bros here. He would give you a great example of what some of these 17-year-olds have done in a juvenile facility that I think was unbelievable. They've broken through cinder block walls, okay? They have injured our correctional officers. We have a couple of them that were in ICU, okay? And so today, we start to correct that age. We start to say that we are going to get control of our juvenile criminal justice system in a manner that allows juveniles who make a bad decision, we're going to give them a second opportunity and we're going to give them rehabilitative services. But if you want to wreak havoc on these people, you're going to jail with the big boys, okay? And so a component to that piece of legislation is the juvenile justice reform piece. Now this bill shifts our approach in the juvenile justice system from shuffling juveniles through our system as quickly as possible to one that actually focuses on rehabilitation. You see, you can do both. You know, because when we talked about correcting the age, we got criticized that we were not going to take care of juveniles or others inside the system. It's important for you to know that all of us, we don't want people to go to jail. And but when people go to jail and they serve out their time, we want them to come back into society, and we don't want them to go back to jail. That's what it's all about. And this bill will help to fix the revolving door of juvenile offenders in a way that keeps them from just passing through the system and coming back into the system. It will also apply to repeat juvenile offenders and require those repeat juvenile offenders to prove good behavior, for them to meet certain goals, to ensure that we have educational components in our juvenile system as well. And so it's my pleasure to sign this bill as well. Now this bill, Representative Mike Johnson and Caleb Klein Peter were not able to be here today, but Y'all are representing the legislature, the whole legislature, even the Senate?
No.
All right, I'll tell Cameron that. All right. So this bill, I think that this bill is also a component to the next bill, which I think is going to be the carjacking bill. And this bill is the illegal use of a firearm. Okay? And what has amazed me is that as Attorney General, I remember working with the federal government when the feds would come in and they would work with us on gun crimes. All of a sudden you would see the level of gun violence start to drop because the feds were in. Why? Because of one, in the federal system, if you get convicted, you're doing 85% of your time. We corrected that yesterday. All right? And then, of course, the federal government has some teeth when you commit a crime with a gun, with a firearm. And so what we're doing today is making sure that those who want to go out there and use a firearm in the wrong way know that there are going to be stiff penalties to do so. And with Louisiana having the second highest rate of gun deaths in the nation because of people who steal and abuse these weapons, we're going to send a loud signal today that if you use a firearm against one of our citizens, you're going to go to jail for a long time. And then, which one is this? Okay, this one I think is special to this city. It's carjacking. We don't have to repeat the tragedies that were told over the last couple of weeks in the legislature and before. Because those tragedies are represented right here in the faces of these victims, many of whom have been carjacked. Right now in Louisiana, a car is stolen every hour. We rank third in the nation in vehicular burglaries. This bill will tell people, okay, our citizens out there, if you carjack someone in this state and in this city, you better hope that that car is full of gas and can take you where these folks right here can't find you. Because when you do, you're going to go to jail for a long, long time. Where's Miss Fricky? Right here. Y'all going to get one. That is the one we signed it with, and you're going to get yours. Okay? Y'all going to each get a copy of the bill and a pen. Okay. Now I want to thank again Representative Debbie Villio, who is from this area, Representative Tony Bacala and Alan Seaball for their work on this one. This one is special. Colonel Hodges, if you and the troopers would come up as well. Y'all want it? Oh, y'all want it? Y'all want to get the sheriffs? Okay. All right. I kind of like y'all up here. Y'all look so great. I mean,
I love the carjacking.
well, thank y'all. Thank y'all. All right. Y'all don't go far. We'll take one big picture too. What? We good? You doing okay? All right. I don't know what would happen, but when it takes, she's doing good. Okay. This is the immunity. Several weeks ago, I signed a declaration of emergency declaring that we have a police shortage in this state. Now, as someone who has been both a police officer and a sheriff's deputy, someone who has walked in the very shoes of many of the deputies that these officers served, in fact, served with one of these deputies directly on the streets. It pains me to see the lengths under which we have to go to now to recruit people into law enforcement. And the people who get into law enforcement don't do it for the money. They do it because they care. They do it because they have a DNA. Inside of that DNA they're called to protect. That's what they do. It's the same thing you have when people become doctors or people become teachers. I've always believed that officers should not face personal legal liability for simply doing their job. I've also believed that if they do their job inside the four corners of the law, as Attorney General, we have stood up for them. We've also prosecuted police officers as well when they have not. And none of these gentlemen here want to protect bad actors. But this city especially has a problem recruiting officers right now. The NOPD force is off for some 700 officers. I know our state policemen are off. I think we need where's Colonel Hodges? We could use a couple hundred this year. This bill, which is going to become law, is a qualified immunity that, let me make sure y'all, it's not going to protect police officers in bad faith, all right? Or when they don't operate inside of the law. But when they operate inside of the law, this bill will further protect them and their agencies so that these agencies, these sheriffs, and our municipal police departments can access the insurance necessary to protect them. Because without it, the costs keep rising. And the ability to attract police officers, we'd rather, instead of paying the insurance companies, wouldn't we rather pay the police officers? And that's what we're trying to do here. And so, sheriffs, this bill is for y'all. You doing okay? It's good? All right. Okay. Doing good? Okay. All right. Now, to this city. New Orleans has been in the top 10 most dangerous cities for too long. And 8 years ago, when I became the Attorney General, we came here to work with stakeholders. I think Greg Rutsevich is Greg, y'all come up. Is Jason here? He couldn't make it? Okay. Who else is here? The DA couldn't make it? Guarnecci? Okay. I'd love for y'all to stand with these folks. Okay? Sheriff, y'all okay? Y'all can hang there. Chief? So 8 years ago, we came here in an effort to try to start to stem the violence in the city, especially inside of the quarter and the CBD. And Greg remembers, I told him, I said, look, if I'm going to come as the Attorney General, I'm not coming to protect the business district or the tourists. We are going to protect the entire city. Because there are people who work real hard inside of the business district. There are a lot of people who labor to make sure that New Orleans is a hospitality city. And they live in the city as well. And you know what? They deserve safety as well. And so as governor, our commitment is going to be to establish a permanent troop NOLA that is going to work inside this city, not just in the quarter, not just in the business district, but inside this entire city to help to stem the violence, the tragic violence that continues to plague the city and to make this city safe. And so, Greg. Is that our last word? Huh? That's it? And then lastly, fentanyl. Yeah. And of course, these sheriffs, they know this tragedy. And of course, this is your bill.
That's my bill.
That's your bill. So you represent just yourself now. He takes the rest of the legislature. She's great. Her and Debbie have been just fantastic. I would bet that if I asked in this entire big audience, and even in the media, someone, if if you would raise your hand if you know someone personally, either in your family or your neighborhood or your neighbor or your friends, who has been impacted by either fentanyl or opioid overdose. Huh? Raise your hand. Come on, how many of y'all know? It's true. We see it. I know, because I've traveled all around the state last year. All around the state. And asked that question. And saw too many hands. Representative Schlegel has put forth a bill that is going to help us hold those accountable for distributing these harmful, poisonous drugs to our citizens and to our children, who we're burying at too fast of a rate. Right now, we're losing 100,000 American citizens a year to opioid and fentanyl overdoses. This legislation severely punishes those who will market drugs, these deadly drugs, to minors. It will send a clear message that if you want to deal drugs, if you want to deal opioids that result in death, you are going to pay a heavy price for targeting our children. Thank you so very much. Got it. Well, we're done. For today. But again, for all of you, I really and truly, I'm forever indebted to the citizens of this state for giving me an opportunity to be their governor, and for the victims for helping us move this package of bills. I want to thank each and every one of you all who came out today. If you want a pen and a copy of the bill, if you would